Hi, I'm Susan Krauskamp, and I'm here to do another video on encaustic painting. This installation is on doing image transfer in encaustic wax. I'm starting with a masonite board that I actually put some watercolor paper on. I put a few layers of medium on and then I covered it with a light ochre paint. I also have here a cup of water, my image copies, which are toner-based copies, which are either laser jet copies or toner-based copiers. You can use inkjet. It's a little trickier, a little harder to get the image to transfer. I also have a spoon, which I like to use for my burnishing tool. On my board, I made one side very smooth and glossy. On the other side, I made it very textured so that we can see the difference between the two transfers. I take my image, place it face down, use my spoon to go in small circles over the back of the image, making sure that the whole image is pressed firmly into the board. You want to be gentle, don't press too hard. Oh yes, and your board should start at room temperature, so once you get that nice smooth surface using your heat gun, make sure you let the board cool down to room temperature, otherwise you'll be pressing circles into your wax. Once you feel you've thoroughly gone over the full image and burnished it on all areas, dip your finger into the water and start to rub gently in circles, just like you were with a burnishing tool. The paper itself will start to dissolve and ball up into small pieces. Continue to dip your finger in the water. Continue in circles till eventually you work most of the paper away. As you start to see the image appear, make sure you're gentle because you don't want to rub your image off of the wax. With the toner-based copies, that's pretty hard to do, but if you're not careful, you'll pull some of the image up. Or if there's places where you didn't burnish it down completely, the image will also come up. Just brush some of those paper pieces off. You'll think that you have most of the paper up, but there's often still a slight film of paper. And each time you put your finger into the water and rub it over the image, you'll kind of feel whether there's a little bit of paper still on the surface. You want to get most of it up. If there's a slight film of paper when you actually go to warm the wax, that paper will actually vanish as the wax absorbs into that layer of paper. Okay, if you got that most of the paper up, and just rub off all those curls, you can see pretty nice image of a leaf onto the surface of the wax. Now let's try the other surface. Have another leaf, press it down on this textured surface, burnishing it again with my spoon. And this is just, if you want an image that's just not so clean and sharp, you might want an image that's a little bit more broken up. Okay, now I've burnished that down pretty well. I'm going to use the water once again to rub in circles. And this time you can see where the wax dipped down into the texture. Obviously the Xerox couldn't get embedded into the surface of the wax. In this case, we get another leaf, but you can see it's more of a broken image. The last step, which is really the most important thing, and it's very easy to forget, is once you've finished doing your burnishing and you've gotten your image transferred, you want to take your heat gun and you want to warm the wax so that the toner actually gets embedded into the wax. So I have my heat gun on low. I'm just warming it enough to get it so I can see a glossiness. If you get the heat gun too close or you get it too hot, the image can break up and crackle. And that's another effect you might be after, but just beware that that can happen. Now in this case I did hold it just a little bit long there so that we could see that effect, and if you look closely you can see I've kind of broken up the image of the leaf by heating it a little close and a little bit too long. So there you have it. It's pretty simple. Thanks for joining me for this video.